Hey chaps, so I want to talk to you today about LinkedIn profile optimization and the process that we go through here at Pearl Lemon Leads. One of the biggest areas or opportunity gaps for really being able to drive more business for your company is what we can do in the space of LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn is ultimately the biggest directory for businesses in the world. It's the biggest individual business person's directory, right? If you are in business, if you are starting your career, if you are even at university, perhaps even younger now, LinkedIn is the de facto place that you need to be if you want to have a presence online in the space of business. So that means whenever you make contact through part of your normal sales processes, through our activity with you, through your just journey along networking and indeed your life, people are going to be looking up either you as an individual or probably you and your company in respect of what you do. And also to that extent, it's the easiest place that, a lot of businesses that, and I'll show you an example of it, one of the businesses that we do work with, let's go to Serena Gwen, here we go. I'm going to show you a status update that she posted recently to underline, anyone know where I can find a great part-time bookkeeper, okay? So LinkedIn has the it's a first port of call for a lot of people when they're trying to find an excellent individual, number one. Number two, LinkedIn has its own actual search algorithm. So when you search, for example, SEO expert in here, you can see your results for SEO expert and actually see who comes up and set criteria and filters, as you can imagine, that really can determine your discoverability on the actual space of LinkedIn. So all of these components come into play when we look at building your profile out, okay? So when you look at profiles, there are factors such as cover image, such as content, where and when to use emojis, where not to use them, what is the appropriate actually keyword to use, and what about keyword co-correlation? You've got your main thing you want to be found for, but what are all of the supporting kind of architecture around that main keyword that will allow you to be found within the LinkedIn search? Furthermore, what is it that we should really put into a summary? What are the critical key personal components about you that make you interesting as an individual, which no one can compete against, right? Because that is your unique competitive advantage against the things that you do as part of your business. We're really here to help you succeed, and there are all of these different components, from the summary, from the title, from your job profile, from the company descriptions, from the emojis, from I'll keep just kind of scrolling through to underline, rich media. Where and when aren't you using rich media? How do you use rich media? What are the appropriate components that we should consider when we're looking at some of your actual job descriptions? How do you effectively position or contextualize your background in a way that suits what you do today? Because a lot of you, for example, may have done something completely different over 5 years ago. It's quite common for this to have happened. And all of these components, skills and endorsements, recommendations, all of this comes into a huge amount of play when we're looking at profile optimization, because the ultimate end game is really a couple of folds. Number one, we want you to be found for inbound on LinkedIn. It's a huge directory. A lot of people use the search functionality. That's why LinkedIn have Sales Navigator. They've got, LinkedIn Recruiter, all of these other components, because there is so much opportunity for search within LinkedIn, and we want you to be discovered. That's number one. Number two, think about all of those outbound activities that you're doing. What is the fastest way to create first best impression? It's through a really, really powerful LinkedIn profile. And then number three, if you're thinking about all of the outbound activity, right, that you're going to be engaging in when it comes to networking events, when it comes to connecting face-to-face and then sending them a follow-up LinkedIn request, whether it comes to any PPC campaigns that you're running, whether it comes to any referrals, right, it's the power of the third man that becomes really important. What do I mean by that? So let's say, for example, that you are recommending myself, Deepak, to your friend Richard. You're like, Richard, I think that Deepak could really help you with your actual lead generation services, because that's one of the things that they do at Pearl Lemon. Or Richard, let me introduce you to his business partner, and let me just go ahead and find, give me a second. There we go, I beg your pardon. Let me introduce you to Deepak's business partner, Kaz. And what, the first thing that may well happen in this instance, and here we go, is that you will look at Kaz's profile, or that person, Richard, who's recommending Deepak or recommending, for example, Kaz, would look at Kaz's profile to get a sense of, well, what is it that's going on? What is it that these guys do? And as you can see, there's all of these different components that form part of your actual first impression that you get within a business. So LinkedIn profile optimization is a key and critical component of what we do as a lead generation service. And given the fact that we generate a huge volume of inbound leads, that we do a huge amount of outbound activity, and as you can see, that we're a great believer and we practice what we preach. I've got 13,435 people that viewed my profile. I've appeared in search 858 times. I've got over 22,000 followers. This is something that we do. I've won TEDx talks. I've won 5-figure contracts, and I generate, a great volume of connection and networks all through the power of LinkedIn profile optimization. So we would love to help you with that journey, and this is a key component of one of the processes that we'll engage with you on when we start building out your lead generation platforms and infrastructure.